Trump administration seeks delay in tariff refunds battle. 15 dead as cash-packed military plane crashes in Bolivia. Trump says of Iran, "Sometimes you have to use force." 55 Ghanaians killed after being lured into Ukraine war. Govt. The administration of U.S. President Donald Trump is seeking to delay legal action over tariff refunds after a major court ruling struck down many of his global trade tariffs. Last week, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled that Trump exceeded his authority by imposing sweeping import tariffs. The decision opened the door for importers to demand refunds, which could involve complex legal battles. The administration has now asked the courts for a delay of up to 4 months, saying more time is needed for the government and Congress to consider their options. Earlier rulings by the United States Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit had already found many of the tariffs illegal, but left the issue of refunds unresolved. The Supreme Court decision does not affect tariffs on specific industries, such as steel and automobiles. Despite the ruling, Trump has already introduced a new 10% import tariff under a different law and criticized the court's decision, saying it could allow foreign countries to take advantage of the United States. The dispute could lead to large refund claims and extended legal battles in the months ahead. At least 15 people were killed after a Bolivian military cargo plane crashed while landing near La Paz, authorities said. The aircraft, a C-130 Hercules transport plane built by Lockheed Martin, veered off the runway at El Alto International Airport and crashed onto a nearby road, destroying several vehicles and injuring more than 24 people. The plane had taken off from Santa Cruz and was carrying Bolivian banknotes, which were scattered across the crash site after impact. Police used tear gas to disperse crowds who tried to collect the cash from the wreckage. Rescue teams recovered bodies from both the airport area and the busy road where the aircraft came down. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. La Paz, one of the world's highest capital cities, sits more than 3,600 meters above sea level, a factor that can make aircraft operations more challenging. U.S. President Donald Trump says he is disappointed with nuclear negotiations with Iran and warned that military force remains an option if no agreement is reached. Speaking after the latest round of talks in Geneva, Trump said Iran has not clearly promised to give up nuclear weapons, adding that he is not happy with the negotiation. The president said he would prefer a peaceful solution but warned that sometimes you have to use force, although no final decision has been made. The negotiations ended without a deal, even though mediators said progress had been made and further discussions are expected. Tensions remain high as the United States maintains a large military presence in the Middle East, including aircraft carrier groups, while Iran insists its nuclear program is peaceful and demands sanctions relief as part of any agreement. Despite the tough rhetoric, diplomatic efforts are continuing as both sides try to avoid a wider regional conflict. Ghana says at least 55 of its citizens have been killed while fighting for Russian forces in the war in Ukraine, after being lured abroad through illegal recruitment schemes. Foreign Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa said about 272 Ghanaians were recruited since 2022, with 55 killed and 2 captured on the battlefield. He described them as victims of trafficking networks and misinformation. Ghana now plans a crackdown on illegal recruiters, warning that young people are being promised well-paid jobs in Russia but are instead forced to join the military and fight. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiga said more than 700 Africans from 36 countries are believed to be fighting alongside Russian forces. Several African countries, including Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa, are also investigating similar recruitment networks. Ghana's government says, "This is not our war," and has pledged to stop citizens from being exploited and sent into foreign conflicts. The situation highlights how the Russia-Ukraine war is increasingly affecting countries far beyond Europe.